Thank you for joining us with Kingdom is Within, the unspoken truth about the Messiah, Jesus, a black extraterrestrial being. I want to thank you for joining us. I know you had a lot of things that you could have been doing, but you took the time out to listen to this program, and we're going to do everything in our power to give you some information that's just going to floor you and have you go back and do the research for yourself so you can check out the things we're talking about. We don't like to just talk about things. We like to prove what we're talking about, because that's been our problem. We've been told so many things in the past that we've been indoctrinated what people want us to believe. And today today is July 4th, and they call it Independence Day. I want to share something with you. Whose Independence Day is it? It's not our Independence Day. And that's part of the problem with our people, is that everything that the white society do, we just follow them without question. And everybody's having a good time, and it's okay. But the thing is this here, that is not our Independence Day. We are still slaves. We are not free yet. So why are we celebrating an Independence Day? That was something that they did for them and theirs. And the only thing we're doing, that's just another example of what I'm talking about when I say we being indoctrinated and just following them into hell with our eyes wide open. Anything and everything they do, we just follow it without question. For instance, barbecued meat. You shouldn't eat nothing on the grill, no way, because the charcoal creates carcinogens, and you're eating this, is going into your body, and it causes cancer. But what do? We barbecue with them anyway. We don't have a clue about what's really going on. Everything that they're doing is based on shortening your life. They do not want us on this earth that long, and everything they give you, for instance, everything they give you to drink, besides water, is shortening your life. These are things that we don't have a clue about. And I'm going to give you an example. Like, we're born with an alkaline body. And every time we drink something and put something in our body that disturbs the alkaline state, what happens is that any acidic drink, everything on the market, there's not an alkaline drink on the market except for alkaline water. Everything else is acidic. So every time you drink an acidic drink, the calcium comes off the bones to neutralize the body back to an alkaline state. After decades and decades and decades of drinking this acidic drinks, and the calcium coming off the bones to fight off this foreign invader inside your body, to alkaline your body, to get it back to its natural state, after decades and decades of this, the bones become weak. And this is where arthritis comes from, and osteoporosis. And doctors ain't going to ever tell you nothing like that. If you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have arthritis, they give you medication for that. They will never tell you stop drinking acidic drinks. They'll never tell you these kind of things, because their job is to make money off of you. So that's where arthritis, and I have people telling me they have arthritis and their bones hurt, and I said, and they drinking a Pepsi-Cola. And they drinking a Coca-Cola. Nigga, your bones and stuff is already deteriorating and bothering you, and it's the acidic drinks that's causing the problem. So doctors ain't telling them to stop drinking these acidic drinks, they just giving them something for it. You follow me? And speaking of Pepsi-Cola, you don't want to drink Pepsis no way, because all of the Planned Parenthoods in our community, they are selling, listen to this carefully, we're dealing with real devils here. These people are selling aborted fetus cells. That's why they have all these Planned Parenthoods in our community. If you notice, Planned Parenthood is in the black community. They have Planned Parenthood for us to kill off special children that they know that's coming to earth during this prophetic time. But for the white women, they have fertility drugs. And this is a reason, this is deeper than, I can't even put it in words, but the only thing we want to do is enlighten our people. That's our mission, that's our job, to enlighten our people at every given opportunity. And it's your job too, when you hear this information, to make this the talk of every barbershop, to make this the talk of every beauty shop. We have to enlighten our people to make them start thinking. There's no independent thinking going on at all. No reasoning, none of that. It's supposed to be a day of Sabbath. It's supposed to be one day a week that we to get together to reason things out, to work situations out. And we're not doing that, because on Saturday we want to barbecue and have a good time. And on Sunday we go to church to listen to what the slave master taught us 400 years ago. And that we still going into the church talking about it and preaching and jumping and hooping and hollering and all of that and not doing no critical thinking. It's time for critical thinking. I'm going to say this again. I know the things I say. Sometimes a lady called me who watched this program on CAN TV and called me and said, I want to speak to Matt Glover. I said, Matt Glover speaking. She said, brother, are you crazy? I said, what's wrong, sister? She said, I heard you on the air. You got to be crazy. I said, no, ma'am. I said, you still under the spell of the slave master doctrine. And so the things that I'm saying, it sounds crazy to you. I said, but all I can tell you is that if you go back and research everything I say, I promise you're going to find out that it's true. I said, so you can believe something 100% and be 100% wrong. I said, have you ever had a man that loved you, that you thought loved you, a man that you loved and you thought loved you, with all your heart you believed it, and you found out that the nigga didn't love you at all? I said, so this is what I'm talking about. So while you're trying to call me crazy, go research the things that you heard me talk about. That's what this is about. I know it may sound crazy, because when you've been indoctrinated with what they want you to think, when you hear new information, unfamiliar information cannot penetrate what you've been indoctrinated with. And I'm going to tell you, the Jehovah's Witnesses are some of the prime examples of what I'm talking about, because they won't even read anything that don't come through the Jehovah's Witness church. Now that's what you call clear indoctrination. I had some people giving me their pamphlets and stuff, and they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I tried to give them a CD. The sister said, oh, we can't look at that. I said, what you mean you can't look at that? She said, well, we can't look at that. And she's talking about if it didn't come from the Kingdom Hall, they cannot look at it or watch it or read it or listen to it. Now listen to that. That's an absolute atrocity. I'm like, did you know that black people couldn't be Jehovah's Witnesses at one time? Are you stupid? What's wrong with your thinking? You follow what I'm saying? And so we have got to enlighten our people about how they got like this so they can start thinking, because they clearly are not thinking. So back to Planned Parenthood, which is what's called the Eugenics Project. Hitler got his Eugenics Project and the depopulation of a class of people from America. Did you know that? Did you know that Hitler's financial advisor, his name was Warburg? Did you know that his brother, Paul Warburg, was President Roosevelt's financial advisor at the exact same time? Now you do the math on that. These are the things that we have to really look into. I'm going to say it again. Two German brothers was the financial advisors. One was the financial advisor for Hitler, and the brother was the financial advisor for President Roosevelt at the same time. You do the math on that one. So the bottom line is that Planned Parenthood came out of Hitler's and them Eugenics Project. And they put Planned Parenthood in the black community. They passed the Abortion Act, I think, in 1973 to start aborting children that they knew was coming, because all the prophecies are talking about Abraham's holy seed. That's who we are. We will declare that from the highest mountain. I don't give a damn who don't like it. And a lot of our people in the church will say, oh, everybody know that's talking about the Jews. Okay, well, not quite everybody, obviously, if you think that. Read it for yourself. Genesis 15th chapter, 13, 14 verses, very clear when Abraham is told what's going to happen to his seed in the future. That's talking about us. So they know who we are. So their mission is to drop these Planned Parenthoods in the black community. And I'm going to say it again. Aborted fetus sale is not considered a human. It's considered and registered as a product. And in this country, anything that is legally registered as a product can be marketed and sold. So aborted fetus sales, since it has been declared and registered as a product, is being marketed and sold to food companies and beverage companies, and they're taking these aborted fetus sales. Listen to these people. They're taking these aborted fetus cells and using them in products like Pepsi-Cola. All of the Pepsi-Cola product lines, they use aborted fetus cells for flavoring, enhancing the flavor. Kraft, the macaroni and cheese that you love so well. All of them use aborted fetus cells to enhance the flavor in their foods. Ocean spray cranberry juice that tastes so good to us. They're using aborted fetus cells to enhance their flavors. Don't believe me? Thank God for the internet. Go and YouTube this stuff. Google it so you can see that I'm not telling a story. I'm telling you the truth. But nobody's telling you about this. We have to enlighten our people, and we don't care who don't like it. They say real men pray. I'm not into that. Because in my mind, real men don't just pray. In my mind, real men acknowledge the truth. Real men tell the truth and don't give a damn about who don't like it. That's real men to me. So that's what we're talking about. All the things that these ministers who are supposed to be leaders in our community, men like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, them niggas are professional agitators. And if don't nobody want to accept that fact, look at their history. If it ain't no media there with some money involved, them niggas ain't nowhere to be found. So I don't care about all that talking about, well, you know, I was in Atlanta, talking, Mac, you know, you saying disrespecting Jesse and them, man, damn Jesse and them. Everybody from Chicago know Jesse's a sellout. And that's the bottom line. If Jesse was so true to Dr. Martin Luther King, I'm going to give it to you straight. If Jesse was true to Dr. Martin Luther King, then why haven't Jesse done what Dr. King was about to do when he got assassinated? They know what Dr. King was about to do when he got assassinated. Not one of them niggas fulfilled what he was about to do, such as tell all the churches to move their money out of the white banks and establish a national bank. That's the #1 reason why they killed Dr. King, because they wanted to control our economics, and that's why our communities look the way they do today. Because we got $1 trillion a year running through white banks. That's enough money to run a small country. You got some countries that don't have $1 trillion a year as this national gross product. They don't have $1 trillion a year running through a whole country. So we are a little country in ourselves, and that's why you have all these white banks dropping in the black community. They say ain't no money in the hood. That's an outright lie. Why are these white banks building banks in the black community? Because they there to collect our money, and the ministers are helping them to do that, because every Monday morning these ministers are collecting and depositing $500 million every Monday morning into these white banks. So that clearly tells you something. Think about that. $500 million every Monday morning. That's $2 billion a month that these black ministers are dropping into white banks. And they go for everybody. So that's what we're talking about. We have to enlighten our people at every given opportunity. And again, we are dealing with devils. Don Elijah Muhammad was the next one next to Jesus to call a human being a devil. Jesus said, I know the iniquities of those that say that they are Jews, but are not Jews, but are of the synagogue of Satan. So he said, and you are devils, and you will do what your father, the devil, will do. So he was calling human beings, or who look like human beings, he was calling these people devils. The next person to come on the set to call these people devils was Elijah Muhammad. Now when Elijah Muhammad said, you know, the white race is the race of devils that you've been reading about. And so they say, oh, well, you got a lot of good whites, and I know that. Because we got a lot of blacks that devils too. So I'm going to say this here. The devil don't have a color. The devil have a purpose. So the black man is the original devil, because the original creation was the black man. The white race did not hit the set. There's no historical history of the white race being on this planet. Well, the Caucasian race, meaning dead Asian. Listen to that word, Caucasian, Caucasus Asian, meaning a dead Asian. The Caucasians did not come on the scene until after the flood of Noah. Prior to that, everybody was black. And it's written that the white race came, so this time the troublemakers will be made obvious. And that's why when they went into other lands, in Africa, etc., when they went into these lands, our people got away from them, because when they saw these troublemakers coming, they didn't want to have anything to do with these people whatsoever. And so that's why we are giving this information, because it's our duty, again, to enlighten our people. These people have put us in a state of apathy to the point that we just accepting our positions as though we're not real men and women. Like our class don't matter to these people. Like I said again today, we are barbecuing and stuff. We need to stop following these people and their traditions and set up our own holidays. Like, it's their Independence Day, not ours. We ain't free yet. I'm going to say, you know, niggas run, and we having a good time and everything. We supposed to have a good time every day. But we ain't supposed to pick out their holiday to sit up in the barbecues and have my, it's Independence Day. No, nigga, you ain't free. What are you talking about? Don't you see what these people are doing to our children? Don't you know that they locking up our youth? They have a design plan to lock up our youth. They're killing them in the street. They're trying to provoke a race riot. This is why they're allowing these people to slaughter our children and not doing nothing about it, because they want it to steam up and steam up to give these youth so much anger that they just come out and lash at them, so it will give them the legal right to gun them down in the street. These people have tanks with rays on them where they can shoot a ray into a crowd and it will have an implosion, meaning it will explode them from within out. These devils have some real technology and they're just waiting to experiment with this technology. They are waiting to use this technology and they're trying to find a legitimate reason to do so. So as long as they're allowing these policemen to shoot and kill our people all over the country, like that white boy that shot and killed them people in Carolina, there's something wrong with that picture. Because I heard that this white boy reloaded 5 times. How on earth can you sit there and be praising with this white guy and ain't nobody paying attention? This is why we supposed to have our antennas up. Ain't no way in the world that white boy was supposed to kill 9 black people. That is because we have been put into a state of apathy, that we're not paying attention at all. If our people in that church would have been paying, I'm going to tell you this here. If a white boy walked up in here right now, I'm going to watch him with all eyes. In fact, I'm going to talk to him and say, this ain't the place for you. Now, some young guys out of New York said something that made sense to me. They was asking, they said, well, are y'all racist? The brother said, no, we ain't racist. But we just feel like this here, that all of them are snakes. And even if they ain't a snake, and even if all of them ain't poisonous, we ain't got time to figure out which snake is poisonous and which snake ain't, so we ain't messing with none of them. I said, that was well put by a young brother. And I mean, when he said it, I said, oh my God. That's just like my young son, 18 years old, said something to me that gassed me. He know what I've been talking about. Jesus ain't died for our sins, etc. So he came to me one time, he said, Dad, you know what? What you saying makes sense. He said, because if Jesus died for our sins, there would be no more karma. That just came out the mouth of an 18-year-old kid. When he said that, I said, wow, Kevin, I like that. I'm going to use that. And he was absolutely right. So let me take you back so you can see what's really going on in our community right now. And we have to enlighten our people. You saw me holding up this book. Let me tell you something. I was reading this book this week, and it's called David Walker's Appeal. Here's a brother that wrote this book in 1829. And he was giving us a view of what was going on in the country. They killed him in 1830. And when I tell you this brother was profound, this is one of the most profound books, a little book, that I've read in my life, ever read in my life. And listen to the 4 categories of the things that he was trying to enlighten our people on. And when I read the book, I felt good because he said something in this book that made me say, oh, well, I know I'm on the right point. In this book, that brother said, because of the condition that these people have put on our people, that they have driven us down to the level of beasts and being put in an apathetic state. Apathy means that you have just accepted what you see as is. And I'm going to read something to you that's going to make you really understand what I'm saying. And we use understand because, again, to understand, they have us understanding things. That's what they use the word understand. Because to understand means you ain't quite got it, or you ain't quite getting it. So this is why, this is what they do. Anything God created, everything he ever said do, they have not done. And everything he said don't do, they have done. And so this is also why one of their favorite pastimes is recreation. Why is that? That's their favorite pastime, recreation. They love recreational vehicles and recreation this. Why is recreation so important to these people? Because this is what they do. They wreck creation. This is what they're really talking about. We thinking one thing, but they talking about something totally different. Listen to the 4 things in this man's article. The first section is the preamble. Article 1. Our wretchedness in consequence of slavery. So our wretchedness is a consequence of the slavery. Then Article 2 is our wretchedness in consequence of the ignorance that they have put on us, taking our culture, taking our language and our history away from us, and raising us to think that we were born to be their merchandise, and accepting it. That's apathy. Article 3, our wretchedness in consequence of the preachers of the religion of Jesus Christ. I'm going to say that again. Our wretchedness in consequence of the preachers of the religion of Jesus Christ. I'll explain that in a minute. Article 4, our wretchedness in consequence of the colonizing plan. Now let's go to Article 3. This man says something in here that was so profound, talking about their mission. And I'm going to share something with you. They had a mission to do exactly what they did. And this was their goal. Listen to what this man wrote in 1829 now. He was sitting in a conference where they was talking about colonizing us to get all of the children of the slaves who had been born of a white master. They wanted to get them away from the slaves. So they wanted to colonize them over into Africa to get them away from the slaves, because these people here were free. And they didn't want to give the thought of freedom to the slaves. So they was having this conference. And listen to what this man said in this conference. He said, the nearer you bring them to the condition of brutes, that means at the very level as a beast, the nearer you bring them to the condition of brutes, the better chance you give them of